Hi, my name is Rachel. I blog at onceuponasewingmachine.com and I design patterns at ousmdesigns.com. Today I'm going to show you how to get a nice clean V-neck sewn, and I'm using a Harvey V-neck as the example. So this V-neck has a neckband that has been cut on the fold. So this end is on the fold. We're going to go ahead and make it into a loop. So you're going to take this end, start at your point, sew to the outside. Go back, start at your point, make sure you're hitting your stitching line so you don't have any gaps here. Sew to the outside. Doing this as opposed to coming in and going out means your sewing machine is just way less likely to eat your neckband. So I like to start at the center, sew out, start at the center, sew out. Right now you've got your fabric right sides together here. So open up your piece. You can see you kind of got where you've sewn it here. And press open your seam allowance with your hand. So open up that seam allowance, and go ahead and fold it together. And you will end up with a piece that looks like this. So here's my finished seam. It's going to be the right side of your fabric. My finished seam down the middle here. Press, press, press with your iron. Then you'll get the best, cleanest result, and you'll everything will just be easier to work with. You can go ahead and snip these little seam allowance wings that you have. Otherwise, they're going to end up in your neckband seam allowance. That's no big deal, but it's a little easier to deal with them if they're not there. Go ahead and add a basting line stitch, 2 inches. Start out here, down. Start out here, down. So on the very bottom here, you're going to have your 2 inches of basting stitch. You can see here I've snipped off those little extra pieces, just a little cleaner to work with. Now you're going to go ahead and take your shirt. I'm using the body blocked Harvey, so you can see I've got 2 different colors going on. If you're following along in the Harvey instructions, you'll have sleeves attached, so don't let that throw you. I'm going to baste the same here. So I'm going to baste from my neckline down to the point and up again. You can snip this center point, just don't go through your basting line to give you a little bit more play. Now I'm going to take my neckband that I basted and meet my shirt, match the points, and then decide which side you're going to start on. So I like to match my point here and then go all the way straight across. So now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew my stitching line all the way point to point. And when I hit the point, I'm going to leave my needle down, lift my pressure foot, rotate around. So that piece will be attached, but I'm going to just take the whole kit and caboodle and rotate it up. And now I'm going to meet this second side. This whole time your needle is down. Put your foot back down and stitch from the point out to the other edge of your basting. This gives you a nice sharp point, and it's just easier to sew than if you try to pin it all at once and you kind of end up with this curled jumble here. So I go sew from one end, get to the point, lift my foot, keep my needle down, turn it all around, and sew the other direction. Once you've done that, you're going to end up with something that looks a little like this. Don't mind all my threads. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it right side out. Okay, so now I can decide, how do I like my V? Is the point of my seam lined up with the point of my shirt? Is it nice and clean? You can, all this basting stitching will come out when you're all done. If it's not and you're like, that didn't work out, go ahead, rip it out. Now you've only got 4 inches of neckline to rip out instead of the entire thing. But this should give you that clean V without needing to do all of that ripping. So once you're happy with it, go ahead, flip the whole kit and caboodle again, and attach the rest of your neckband, and you'll just be sewing from where you left off all the way around to where you left off again. And your neckband will be nice and sharp. You'll get a nice V that you can be confident in every time. Again, this is the Harvey V-neck at ousmdesigns.com.